Now, we will have a panel discussion about research challenges and recent trends, which will be moderated by Dr. Nashmil Abdullah. She's a faculty member and the coordinator of pharmacy department at Komar University. والآن سيكون لدينا حلقة نقاش عن تحديات البحث العلمي والاتجاهات الحديثة، والذي سيدار من خلال الدكتورة نشميل عبد الله مقررة قسم الصيدلة في جامعة كومار.
Thank you, Dr. Abaida, for introducing me. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all have enjoyed the actual sessions today and have obtained valuable insight into different topics that are facing us when we are undertaking research within the third international conference on research challenges and recent trends in applied and humanitarian sciences. It is a pleasure to welcome you to today's panel looking at research challenges and recent trends. In fact, before we start, I would like to introduce my panelists first to you and ask them and to welcome them onto the stage. My very first panelist is Dr. Karim Abbas Daoud. He's the head of the Ranking Affair Committee in Computer Engineering at Komar University of Science and Technology. He holds his bachelor and master's degrees in computer science and software engineering, respectively, and has earned his PhD in software engineering from the Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology at the University of Putra in Malaysia. His research interest encompasses software engineering, open source software, and multi-criteria decision making. Can I kindly ask Dr. Karim to make his way to the stage, please? Hello and thank you. Take a seat, please. My second panelist is Dr. Ahmed Ghani. He is a faculty member and consultant engineer in the Civil Engineering Department at Komar University of Science and Technology. He is a former postdoctoral research fellow in Civil Architectural and Environmental Engineering Department at Missouri University of Science and Technology. He has obtained his bachelor and master's from Tikrit University and holds his PhD from Missouri University of Science and Technology. He has more than 50 peer-reviewed publications with experience of 12 years in construction fields and 9 years in academic field, and has been awarded an honor on 15 different occasions. Dr. Ahmed is a member of ASC, ACI, PCI and TMS, and his research interests include properties of sustainable concrete material, masonry structures, and the performance of structural element of bridges. Dr. Ahmed, please kindly be seated. My third panelist is Mr. Sarmad Latif, who holds a bachelor's and master's degree in civil engineering with first-class honors from the National Energy University in Malaysia. As a research fellow and faculty member, he serves at the Civil Engineering Department of Komar University of Science and Technology. He is the author of more than 30 scientific research articles in prestigious international journals and a book. And he has reviewed over 60 research articles in highly indexed scientific international journals. He has specialized in applying artificial intelligence techniques to engineering applications, including machine learning and deep learning. He is recognized as the top researcher in Iraq for the past 3 years in the field of reservoir inflow related to water security by the Scopus database. If Mr. Sarmad could kindly make his way to the stage, please. Hello and welcome. Right, thank you very much and welcome, dear panelists, and for giving us valuable insight to critical topics that allows us to improve our research performance and at the same time overcome challenges in various ways that we are facing them as we undertake research. While listening actually to your presentations, I have noted down a few questions that I would like to ask you in the first session of the panel, and then we will give more time to the audience and we will be taking their questions along as well. My very first question actually is related to the presentation Dr. Karim has undertaken for us, and thank you for giving us advice on how to prevent actually desk rejection, which seemed to be quite a massive issue when we are trying to publish an article. My very question is, what are the main keys that make a manuscript pass this desk rejection? If you could give us a couple of crucial points to look out for, I'd much appreciate.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. طبعا راح أتكلم بالعربي والإنجليزي. كان السؤال على ما ذكرت الدكتورة إنه شنو هي الأساسيات أو النقاط الأساسية اللي نتحاشى بها الديسك ريجكشن، يعني انه التشيف اديتور يقبل بالمانuscript مالتنا. صراحه من اهم النقاط اللي يجب ان نركز عليها حتى نتجاوز هذه المرحله هو التايتل والابستراكت. التايتل يجب ان يكون مشوق، يعني يعكس محتوى البحث، بحيث انه لما يجي التشيف اديتور ينظر الى هذا التايتل هو ضمن السكوب للمجلة وضمن الاكسبكتد ريدر، يعني هو انه شو يتوقع من الريدر شو يتوقعون القراء شو يتوقعون من هذه المجلة، فيجب ان نلتزم بهذا الامر. النقطة الثانية الابستراكت.
Sorry, Dr. Karim, if you could keep it to English so that I can
it's okay.
follow your
Sorry, because the audience. So the first point that we talk about it is the title. We have to select a title that's suitable and reflect the aim and scope of the journal to motivate the chief editor to accept our manuscript, because the title is very important, that must reflect the content of the research. This is the first part. The second point is the abstract. Your abstract have to be structured. You have to start with the phenomena that you are talk about it. Then you have to mention your problem statement. Then what you are going to do, which method you are going to do. Then you are get to the results. So you have to structure your abstract. يعني النقطة الأخرى, and this is in English, I'm going to talk in Arabic. النقطة الأخرى اللي هي الأبستراكت، يجب أن نراعي الأبستراكت أن تحتوي، هي مقدمة للبحث مالتنا، هي البوابة للدخول للبحث. إذا كانت منظمة ومرتبة ومصاغة بشكل صحيح راح تعطيني opportunity عالية إنه البحث مالتي راح يقبل.
Thank you very much, Dr. Karim. So now that we have some main key points to consider, my next question would be follow on to look into how can I find a suitable journal for my manuscript. So now we passed the fact that there is certain points that we needing to consider. So what is the next step? So what do I need to look for?
Thank you so much for this very good question. And I think most of the researcher, they miss this way to how to find the suitable journal for your paper. Actually, in simple way, just go to Google, journal finder. Springer will provide you journal finder. Scopus will provide you journal finder. Most the publisher, the good publisher will provide in their site the journal finder. Journal finder will ask you to put your title, the title of your research, and the abstract. Based on the title and abstract, the journal finder will suggest to you which is suitable list of suitable journal that it is close to your research.
Okay.
يعني sorry to say that in Arabic because it is very important. I have to repeat it in Arabic. يعني الطريقة المثلى والصحيحة أن لا أذهب إلى الايجنت الى الشركات او اذهب الى احد. بكل بساطه اكتب بالجوجل جورنال فايندر، دور النشر الرصينه مثل سبرينجر، السكوبس والويلي وكثير من دور النشر الرصينه تجهز لك او تزود هذا الجورنال فايندر. مجرد تختار الجورنال فايندر، يعني خلينا نقول اللي للسبرينجر، راح يسألك عن التايتل، العنوان البحث مالتك والابستراكت. بناء على هذا إذا أنت صايغها بشكل صحيح، التايتل والابستراكت صايغها بشكل صحيح، راح يعطيك الجورنال المناسبة للبحث مالك.
Great, thank you.
Thank you
My
so much.
very last question would be, in fact, if we do have an article and it is focused on a specific country, is there any easily acceptance in an international journal?
Thank you so much. Actually, for this specific, let us say, for example, we did a research, very specific, here in Suleimani, talk about something, for example, related to agriculture, related to whatever. Just talk about very specific things. This will not give opportunity, it is my point of view, will not give opportunity to be published in an international journal because, the reader, it is looking for something is general. Not just for a specific area. So therefore, it is better if you have very, very specific research in your country. So it is better, it is more advisable, and the opportunity will be higher if you publish it in the local journal, because it is just for this area. So the international will not consider it, wouldn't say this is not suitable, not suitable, but they didn't give it importance.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you so
the
much.
extended explanation in regards
Thanks a
to my
lot.
questions. We are going to take the questions for yourself later on from the audience, but I've got some questions for Dr. Ahmed as well. In fact, thank you very much for your presentation and looking into challenges between funding agencies and scientific research to get reliable outcomes. In fact, I am interested in finding out more about how can the research community, especially the research scholars, react and be proactive against published research with unbiased outcome.
Thank you so much. One thing I said about us as a researcher or as a scholar, we need to be the voice, not the echo. So we should lead on clarifying all of the fog around the results and work even within our community to see if there is any biased research, highlight that. I think that can be done through some points. I will say, first of all, we should be engaged actively in the review process. So when all of us either being invited or we should volunteer for the review process, because research has two components, why they call it peer-reviewed. It is somebody puts his or her outcome result, and a group of other people, scholars, should approve it for him. And those things require us to be fully active in approving those or not approving them. There is another thing, maybe we are not aware 100% of it. Every single publication, not some of them, all of them, has a period of 6 months after the publication for any comment you can put on them. So they will be directed to the same group. This process led many times to retract some of the papers, some of the outcome. So even when we see newly published papers or results, we believe it's not, or it is biased, or it has some conflict of interest, we should take an action to highlight that, highlighting it through the review, highlighting it through sometimes media or social media, put that. Another way of that is type of research. Now it's very common, replication research. You take the lead and say, I am replicating X researcher's work, doing exactly the same thing. And even the type of paper will be replication paper to see, will you get the same result that he or she got? On those points, we do our part. And people will look at the result coming from our community with more trust, I would say.
I'm going to ask Mr. Sarmad a few questions. And my first question is, as you recently been recognized as the first researcher in Iraq for the past 3 years in your field, how did you manage to achieve this outstanding scientific level? What was your plan?
Yes, the first point, having passion to your field. Without dedication, you cannot success in research, especially in a such country like Iraq, because we don't have enough motivation.
Yeah.
So if I talk about my experience for the past 3 years, I can say that most of the day, more than 12 hours, I dedicated myself for research, for studying the data, and searching for the current problem in related to my field. And the second point is international collaboration. Since I have studied abroad, yes, international collaboration for me was a very important point. Why? Because in our country, we are struggling of having reliable data. I was searching for reliable data to study the problems, but when I was collecting the data were not reliable, were not suitable. So since I had international collaboration, I could have a reliable data for the developed country, so I was able to conduct high quality research and study the data and providing suitable solution for those issues. Another point is through having international collaboration with other scientists in the developed country, they had funding in their universities. So I was able to publish my works in open access journals. So through that, we can have better number of citation also. Another point is having patience. This is very important, especially in our country as Iraqi citizen or as Kurdish citizen. We don't have patience. I can see that some of my friends, they ask me, I want to publish within 2 weeks, within 3 weeks. And actually it's impossible. If you conduct a high quality research, you must be patient. I have one of my research article I have submitted last October. It is status under review since last November, almost 1 year. And I have patience. I don't have problem because you have to give time to the scientists and experts, the reviewers, to review your work. Sometimes you need revision 3 times. So having patience also is a very great point for researcher in order to success in his or her field.
That's great. So the magic recipe would be patience and being passionate within your field, collaborating, and certainly we require funds, that as everybody knows about this. My very last question is in regards to you talking about reliable index journal. And what I'm actually interested is, what are the criteria for any journal, also including our local journals, in terms of to get into the ISI and the Scopus journals? Could you expand a little bit, please?
This is a very important question because when we talk about publishing our research work in a high index journal, there will be a question comes to our mind. What about our local journal? Should we ignore them? No, we have to develop our local journal in order to get access, in order to get indexed in the recognized databases, such as Clarivate Analytic and Scopus. Actually, there are some criteria. For example, the initial stage is having ISSN, International Standard Serial Number. So the journal website should register ISSN for their journal. Another point is editorial stage. Editorial board is very important for journal. They must be expert, they must be well-known researcher or scientist in the aim and scope of the journal. This is another point. So they manage the manuscript, as Dr. Karim explained very well. So sometimes they don't need to send the manuscript to the reviewer. Through initial checking, they reject the manuscript because most of the manuscripts are usually rejected. This is another point. So having a scientific and reliable editorial board is extremely important to for the journal to get indexed in the recognized databases. Another point is peer review process. This is extremely important. So the editors must invite expert scientists or researchers that are completely qualified based on the research article. So they must be expert in order to have a reliable peer review, so the journal will get trust by those databases and can apply for it.
Thank you very much. So in fact, recognition comes through the peer review that is required, as you said, in the ISN and the editorial board. These might be the very crucial parts to look into, in particular for our local journals as well. Thank you very much. I am done with my actual question. I just wanting to give time to my audience as well to ask their questions, and we will take them in turn. We will start off with Dr. Kaus, if you could kindly.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Karim, my question is for you. What do you think about the local journal? Is it necessary for every university to have a local journal?
Sorry, Doctor. It is not working.
Okay, my question is for you about the local journals.
Yes.
Do you think it is necessary and we are in need for the local journals by the universities?
Yes, Doctor, for sure. For sure, because we have to have our research. We have to make, if we talk about the Komar of any other university, they have to have a journal to be well-known university. One of the criteria to be a reputation of university, to be in ranking, they have to have a way in scientific.
In other universities outside or in the world, do you think they are following what you are saying?
Well, most universities, Doctor, the famous university, they have a journal.
Publishers, not the
yeah.
universities.
I mean, they have a journal they assign to publisher.
I don't think so, because you know what? Now we have also in Iraq very, very problem. Also in the region here, sometimes the interference of the people, and when they are trying to get as soon as possible a kind of acceptance letter, and so many things is happening. In my view, okay. Just maybe a point that the research or the papers that you have received in this conference, why you didn't go to a local journal to publish it?
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah. Actually, Doctor, what we receive from this conference has different field. We can call it multidisciplinary. And to be honest, the process in our local journal is just not like the process in other international journal. Why? Because as we know, all of us, we are from Iraq. If you ask anyone in here, which journal you prefer? Did you prefer to publish your research in international or local? Even the point, when the university come, the point counted for international more.
That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah.
This is a very, very critical point, and I think there is, in my view, and so many people also, there is no need for local journal because it's a waste of time, and also economy, things like that. And later on, I actually just maybe 1 year ago, K-Sign in Kurdistan is a scientific organization. They published a paper about the citation of the local journals. It was something disaster. No one is coming to read it and cite it. That's a problem. You need something to help you when you are in the process of scientific. That's why I'm against the local journal, not really because it's a waste of time. You have to find your direction and publish it in the international journal.
But actually, Doctor, instead of to be against, let us put the rule, let the Ministry of Higher Education put the rule and stop those journals to cheating the researcher.
Okay, now if you are going to the university, they have cocktail journal. They are publishing A to Z, whatever it is. medical, engineering, whatever it is, all under the scientific journal. And this type or model of journal is not exist in any developed.
We can say this is business journal. Journal for business, doing business, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very
Dr.
much, Dr. Kaos. From what I have drawn actually within the discussion is the fact that we require a reform of our local journals in such a way that we're needing to further develop it maybe in the coming years. I think this gentleman, if we could take his question, please.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for the organizers and panelists. Actually, you presented something valuable. This is Dr. Talib, Academic Dean of Margasur Technical Institute at Erbil Polytechnic University. Dr. Karim, you mentioned about the research and desk rejection. You covered a lot of points. That's absolutely right. But from my point of view, first of all, it would be very important for researchers to think before starting writing, to think about a journal. With journal, what are the criteria of the journal? So based on that criteria, the researcher can write and can submit their manuscript. Also, the cover letter is very important to have it.
For sure, Dr.
But my question is here. From your experience regarding the citation, to what extent the board of auditors take into considerations, for example, you choose a journal, and from your manuscript, you have cited this journal. Does that affect to get approved or not? This is my question. And for Mr. Sarmad.
Let me answer the question because maybe we'll forget that one. Actually, this is very nice question, which is the some people, they thought I'm talking about the prestige journal, not as normal journal with do business. Actually, we are even published for free. We didn't pay. In this Clarvid journal, in the Q1 and Q2, right now I didn't pay anything for free. So this journal, if they find the citing the same journal in your article is too high, they will reject your paper directly. They will reject it. But if they find you are cite their journal, which is for a specific field related to your research and with reasonable percentage, they will accept it. But if it is high, definitely they will reject it.
Oh, yes. And regarding the Erbil Polytechnic University, just started reformed the journal. Now it is indexed with Scopus as well. And the chief editors, most of them is from different countries, actually. Mr. Salman, you mentioned about the promotion. This is a problem. I agree with you. You know, when researchers do our research, let's say in Kurdistan or in Iraq as whole, do researchers really do for promotion or for solving a problem? If there is solving a problem, can you mention 2 or 3 examples by their research to solve the problem in the community, related to our community? And
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for disaster. University lecturers, they conduct research only for promoting scientific title.
Yeah.
That's why, as we mentioned, our university if we conduct a high quality of research and solve
the efforts of the high-skilled researcher. This is another problem. So, as you mentioned, usually we are conducting a lot of research without novelty, without contribution to the science. That's the main problem. And the only organization that can control those issues that we all mention about is Ministry of Higher Education. Thank you for your question.
Thank you very much for the question. We might be able to take two more questions.
Even in Arabic, you can ask in Arabic, it's okay. يعني بالعربي عادي اسألوا.
Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Professor Fatima Al-Bajalani from Salahuddin University, Erbil. Thank you very much for your presentations. I am happy that I was one of your audience today. And thank you for your guiding directing the panel.
Thank you.
You did the job in a very good way. Thank you. I have a comment and a question. The question is for Dr. Sarmad. How do I know that the journal that asks me to be one of the editorial member is a reliable journal? And how to accept it?
Okay, a very good question. This is the question of most university lecturers. They previously asked me. Usually, the well-known international journal or high-index international journal, they do not invite someone to join their editorial team without having a great scientific background. So at least we must, for example, just 1 month ago, a journal that indexed by Web of Science, Clarivate Analytic, and Scopus as well, they invited me to join their editorial team. Why? Because they have seen that I have published more than 30 research articles, all indexed in ISI, Web of Science, Clarivate Analytic with quartile 1 or 2, and they have seen the impact of citation. The international researchers that published their research work in high-index journal, they also cited my research papers as the source, as a reliable source in their work. So once they see the impact of citation and your research publication that published in well-known international journal, then they invite you. Without that, they never go for inviting anyone to join their editorial team. Thank you.
Thank you. The comment is with your last comment or answer, the role of Ministry of Higher Education in supporting the effective researchers or the hardworking researchers. I remember two things. One of them is rewarding the researchers financially, those who publish in journals with the Scopus or the high-ranked journals. The second is that their papers for promotion do not go to the evaluators if they are published in journals with impact factor or Scopus.
Yes, yes. Yeah, actually it's right, but actually it's not enough. You know, they consider same, but it does not go for evaluation if the impact factor is 1 or higher. That's not a real differentiate between a research that has novelty, that a researcher made effort, spent maybe more than 1 year to solve a specific problem, that the real life problem, and provide sustainable solution, with someone that just published a report in a local journal and they both go for scientific promotion. The problem is that, as we said, there must be other criteria, other evaluation. This is one point. Regarding the reward, it's actually a good starting point, but again, it's not enough. As we said, in high-ranked international universities, they provide funding, they provide research grant. So when the lecturers have grant, have monthly salary, so they can seriously focus on solving issues, they can have a reliable data, they will have access to data, so they can conduct high-quality research. But with just rewarding, actually, it's almost, we can say it's not impossible, but it's very difficult to get involved in high-quality research. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the clarification there. Can we kindly hand over the mic to Dr. Tuana for his question, please? And we might be able to take one more question after Dr. Tuana.
Well, thank you very much for the great presentations, and it was really very informative for me. I have two actually comments. I can say one of them is question and one of them is comment. If you look at the current trend of doing research in Iraq and Kurdistan, it's not really promising. Let's be very frank with ourselves, with the institutions, with the ministry. Because what we have seen now, as the respected doctor said, majority of the effort is coming just for the sake of the scientific title. And for that purpose, we actually promoted a business for many people from the surrounding countries. I'm sure you are all aware of this situation in terms of having a group, research group, and under many different names. So there are many businesses here and they're going. So in this situation, what should we do actually? This is a dark side of doing research, because that one, I'm telling you, definitely will not find any solution for any problem in this country. Because the ultimate concern of that one is having a scientific title by one or two research. This is the first one. The second one, in terms of, I just want to ask Dr. Karim and if Dr. Ahmed also helping in that one. When we come to talk about research publication, based on your experience, have you experienced any biasness when you are, for example, publishing or sending a paper to a very prestigious journal from Iraq, when your affiliation is coming from Iraq? Are they going to consider that one as one of the weak points when they come to accept your or reject your paper? Because we have heard here and there that the papers were a very good quality, but since the affiliation, for example, is coming from Komar University from Iraq, then they are going to reject it because they do not believe the reliability of the data in this country. So have you faced any issue like that? And thank you.
Thank you so much. Doctor, let me answer the first question that the journal that doing business and some research group, they did their research on kind of business. The good news, there is a new organization, they follow those people. And recently, they announced number of people to retract their paper, cancel their paper. They publish their paper and get citation, and they announce even their name. And I got this news, I got the link even, and I checked. Unfortunately, there is big title for the researcher, but they did like a business as a group researcher. Really is not research. But this organization, I think, is founded in America. I don't know. They share this. And then retract their paper. This is the good news. The second one, the experience of having affiliation. Actually, based on my experience, I was publish a paper in Komar, but actually not as individual article. My affiliation was Komar, and even Dr. Rawia, her affiliation in Komar. And we have another researcher with us. It's published in very high impact factor around 9 something in the Clarivate Q1. I don't know, they will consider the other affiliation and our not, I don't know, but based on my experience, my affiliation was in Komar, and our article accepted in very high impact factor in the Clarivate Q1.
Yeah. Thank you very much. If we could give 1 minute to Dr. Ahmed to answer
I would say for that things in general, there is cases definitely that's a human interference here and there, but for somebody who worked in editorial managing of international journal, to be from Iraq, it's an advantage, not disadvantage. Why? Because we try to send the paper to reviewers. If it's passed the first check, we send it to our reviewers within the area, like India, Egypt, these things. I never send a paper from Iraq to United States for a review. Vice versa, never send a paper from United States in the Middle East. So people from United States should be reviewed inside based on their level. So that make it less, and I experienced that. Prestigious journals, I have the chance to publish with them with my Komar affiliation better than other ones because they send it inside. Coming to what you mentioned about the trend, I would say the research or government should lead on directing the research by putting more through the collaboration, putting their problems, share it with the research institution like universities. Through call of a proposal, through meetings, they said, we have those problems, we are seeking input from you. And that will take you to another point, which is the win-win situation. Which is, I use it a lot. When you try to do research, make sure it will give you some, like now we're talking about recycled material. I worked a lot. We contacted many agencies who's dealing with those recycled material. How much money you spend on that things? What about if you give you a solution that will cut this, we need that much fund. So at the end of the day, they see there is a benefit from what they are doing, even the long term, and it's like a win for them and win for us mostly. And that directed will prevent this random research just for promotion things, you know?
Thank you very much. If we could ask your
yes,
opinion,
a very good
please.
question asked by Dr. Tuana. Actually, I have a good experience to answer this question. Usually, I have published with Komar University affiliation, which is a university in Iraq, as a single author in a very high impact factor journal with impact factor of 7, ISI Q1, and they accepted and they published. Not one time, 3 times. Also, I have published in Nature, which is the most recognized database in the world with Komar affiliation. That's why this statement is a very popular point among university lecturer, but it's completely wrong. It's not correct. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am aware of the time, but Dr. Fariad has got a question. If we could make it very quick, please.
I have a question for Dr. Ahmed.
Certainly.
What a potentially upsetting news today. I heard from you that the individual research paper is the bad.
No.
Is that the reason to get a rejection as soon as possible?
Yes, but it's not bad. Because the people who
the
reject...
news is bad.
Yeah. The news is bad, yeah. But that's not... but it's one of the recipes to get rejected. Unfortunately, those prestigious or good journals, they looked as a paper with single author, that's unfunded journal. So that means they think that somebody thought in the night, I'm going to do that, and he did it without any involvement. If the funder's there, if the industry there, if there is a team there, you will see them basically on the paper. But that doesn't mean that the single author paper is not good. I'm saying that's part from the bias procedure that we all suffer from. Sometimes they label your journal by title, by those signals, by sometimes citation or something. So they find a way. Unfortunately, there is on average, no reviewer will take more than an hour reading your paper. That's why when Dr. Karim said title and abstract, he's totally right. It is volunteer work. Sometimes they scan keywords or key indication, decide they reject it or not. That's it. And one more point, and that's an unfortunate thing. I've been in a meeting without mentioning the organization. The chief editor was angry because the acceptance rate was more than 10%. He was yelling on all of us. He said, how come it's more than 10%? They brag about their acceptance rate below 10%. So they need you to submit and reject.
Thank you very much, and I hope your question is answered. Yeah. If I could just get one sentence from each of my panelists for kind of finalizing what they wanting to say or get across to us. Each of you, I'm going to give just half a minute. I'm so sorry for that. Starting off with Dr. Karim.
We are asking Dr. Ahmed to represent us to talk this sentence.
Thank you so much for this honor, Doctor. I would say with all of what we have right now from challenges, again, we should be the voice, not the echo. We should take steps to clarify. Whenever we talk about reforming the rules, we are the leaders, should be on that. We shouldn't lead people unexperienced in putting those things. When we talk about publication, we should lead with solution. how I am a big fan of at least 25% of the review should be public. Any paper will be published, should be like a quarter of the review that minimum should be public. People can see how the process of that, so in order to trust that. Don't be afraid at all from criticizing bad research, because it will come back to us as either reputation, number one, or either making the rule more complicated. Right now, with all due respect, the very good, I'm assuming all of us, the very good researchers are measured on the same way that people who are just like doing the research for business. Why? Because we didn't take initiative. I'm big supportive of taking initiative to reform all of that or take action when we see something wrong. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If there's anything else to be added from yourself.
I would like to say that as
University lecturers, we should not be pessimistic for improving the issues we have in our higher education sector. We believe that talking to people, having public awareness, especially in academic institutions, and talk about the issues we have in our higher education sector in terms of research can really change the game and result in action. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all my panelists, Dr. Karim, Dr. Ahmed, and Mrs. Sarmad. In fact, just I wanting to add a very last note onto the panel discussion is I absolutely agree with certain points that has been highlighted in here, but in fact the only one that comes quite crucial out here is the fact filling into the knowledge gaps rather than just undertaking scientific research for the sake of a promotion. Thank you very much that you have been tuned in until now with us. Thank you to you, audience, and thanks again to my panelists.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.